49 teams to go. My road to predict all 131 teams this college football offseason. We're moving on to a new conference, the Sun Belt Conference. Added some new members this year, and we'll talk more about them later. But the University of Louisiana-Monroe Warhawks are going to be the first team on the block. And this is a Warhawks team that was quite a decent surprise a season ago. Won 4 games last year. How they won 4 games is just, I mean, it was amazing. How much better this team was than everyone thought they were going to be in the preseason. But this is a Warhawks team that does lose some of their bigger pieces. So is this a Warhawks team that's going to continue to surprise people in 2022? Or will this ULM team be taking a step back this upcoming year? What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate, and welcome to my channel. I'm predicting all 131 teams this college football offseason, getting into the home stretch. College football is about a month away, but guys, that means I'm doing your favorite team. So if I haven't done them, or if I have done them, please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, so you know when some teams you might be interested in, or when your favorite team, that video gets uploaded to fans of the Warhawks out there. You guys are going to know this team a lot more than I do. So if you feel like I missed something, if you want to add something, leave it in the comment section down below. I'll be happy to hear with what you guys have to say. I apologize for the delay. Wi-Fi was being troubles. We're getting a new router tomorrow, but I'll have videos scheduled for you guys. So let's go ahead and talk about the Warhawks in 2022. My 14th ranked team in the Sun Belt coming into this upcoming season. And, well, I mean, ranking them again, the Sun Belt adding 4 new members, but ranking them 14th, I mean, this was a team that was pretty solid a season ago. I mean, they were 4-8. They were 2-6 in conference. Well, and even me saying pretty solid is kind of a big overstatement, because this was a Warhawk team that was still towards the bottom in the Sun Belt in a lot of categories. I mean, 328 yards per game with only 21 points per game. Both of those, I believe, were last in the Sun Belt Conference, if not towards the bottom. And then defensively, wasn't a good defensive team either. Allowed 450 yards per game and allowed almost 33.5 points per game. Both of those, I believe, the second worst marks in the Sun Belt Conference. So how did this team win 4 games a year ago? Honestly, I have no idea, but it was great to watch this Warhawks team win 4 games. Feels like this team is moving in the right direction, although there are still a lot of improvements that need to be made, and they are losing some of their better players off of this roster from a year ago. So Rhett Rodriguez, a quarterback, he is gone, had 799 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, had to deal with some injury problems and some personal stuff last season. But hey, for Rhett Rodriguez, you lose his production, and that's definitely going to hurt. When you look at the running back room, Caden Roach is a name that leaves. Only 58 rush yards and a touchdown a season ago. And you also lose Jackal Holmes, who had 105 yards and a touchdown a season ago. So those guys, not necessarily huge losses, but you still lose their production from a season ago. In the wide receiver position, you have Jared Sparks, who's gone, 336 yards and a touchdown a season ago for him. But where this team loses a lot of their talent is defensively. Off the defensive line, Ty Shelby and Miles Cole. You lose both of those guys. Miles Cole, 28 tackles, half a sack last year. But Ty Shelby led the team, 5.5 sacks a season ago. So you lose both their production off the linebacking group. Trayvion Webster, Jaquez Williams, Keyshawn Johnson, all of those guys are gone. Webster was the leading tackler, had 92 of them a season ago. Williams, 35 tackles and an interception that he returned for a 96-yard pick 6 a season ago. Keyshawn Johnson, pretty solid linebacker there as well. But this team's defensive back group got decimated as well. Josh Newton, Adam Sparks, Austin Hawley, Nick Roberts, Kelly Swinney, all those guys that I've listed there, as far as my knowledge, are gone off this team, and there are probably more names that I could have thrown on this list there as well. But let's look at what they have coming back, because there still are a lot of solid pieces coming back for this Warhawks team. Chandler Rogers, who was that leading quarterback for most of the year a season ago, had 1,311 yards, 9 touchdowns, 3 picks, rocked a 62% completion percentage, and was the team's 3rd leading rusher with 367 yards and a touchdown a season ago for him. In the running back room, you have Andrew Henry, Malik Jackson, the team's 2 leading rushers, both of them with around 450 yards. Henry with 4 touchdowns, Jackson with 3 touchdowns. So you return your 1-2 punch at the running back position. In the wide receiver position, you got a lot of guys coming back and returning for you. Boogie Knight is coming back. He was the lead target last year. 45 catches, 588 yards, 3 touchdowns a season ago. Will Derrick comes back. Zach Jackson comes back. Tyrone Howell is a name, I believe, transferring into this program. So you're going to see his name there as well. Tight end Zach Rasmussen coming back there as well. So there's a lot of solid offensive talent coming back. But again, this team didn't lose a lot of offensive talent in the first place. This team lost a lot of defensive talent. Here's how their defense is going to kind of look this year. Caleb Thomas, Serdarius Ellis, Quincy Ledet, going to be some names that you'll see there on the defensive line. When you look at the linebacking position, I mean, you still got some solid players back and some leading tacklers. Zach Woodard had 89 tackles, 3.5 sacks, 3 pass defended, interception a season ago. Quay Drake, Jackson Bailey, some other names you'll see in there, as well as in the defensive back position, Jabari Johnson, Trey Odom, and Deuce Mayberry. Some names that you'll see back for this Warhawks team. Again, this is not the most talented team in the Sun Belt by any means, but this is the team that won 4 games last year. They got to replace a lot on the defensive end. The offense, you definitely want to see improvement made there, gain more yards, because although this team won 4 games last year statistically, this should have been one of the worst teams in the Sun Belt a season ago, but maybe things are looking up for this Warhawk program and for head coach Terry Bowden. Looking at the schedule, though, definitely a lot of tough games here. I mean, for starters, when you look there in non-conference, you got 3 games on the road that are just brutal. Absolutely brutal games. You got to go on the road to play Texas, on the road to play Alabama, and then even later in the year on the road to play Army there as well. The only game that you're probably going to be favored in non-conference play is that game against Nichols on September 10th. But Texas, Alabama, 2 teams that should be fairly solid, 2 teams that individually can push for their spot in the conference championship game. Alabama figures to be one of the best teams coming into this season, if not the best team in the entire nation. Army on the road, that's a team you can never sleep on. Watch out for Army. But when you get into conference play, you got home games against Louisiana, Coastal Carolina, Texas State, and Southern Miss, a new addition to the Sun Belt Conference. You got to go on the road to play Arkansas State, South Alabama, Georgia State, and Troy. So let's go ahead and talk about the Warhawks schedule here. Again, just a lot of tough non-conference games. I mean, going on the road to play Texas, this Texas team has added too much to the roster to not get better. There's no reason why Texas should not improve in 2022. And same thing goes for Alabama. Now, Alabama figures every year to be a position group away from really being a dynamite team. And, well, their cornerbacks needed help. They should have young guys step up. And their wide receiver group needed help after losing a lot. They went and dug in to the transfer portal, got a lot of things there, and got Jahmyr Gibbs at running back there as well over from Georgia Tech. So it's an Alabama-Texas team that ULM probably has no shot in winning either of those games. On the road against Army, there's some shot to win that game, but I still I'm going to say that that's a very slim chance for ULM to go on the road there and beat Army. When you look at Nichols, probably your only winnable game, in my opinion, in non-conference play. And then your conference slate, well, there's no App State, there's no Marshall, but there are a lot of tricky games. I mean, Coastal Carolina is one. That's just going to be a very hard, tricky game. Louisiana there as well. Georgia State, Troy. There are a lot of hard games on the conference schedule. Arkansas State's a team that's getting better. Texas State is a team that could be getting better. Southern Miss, the team that can push for a spot in a bowl game. South Alabama, same thing. So all these teams on Louisiana's schedule are going to be tough. But if you want to look for games that are winnable, I think that game at home against Southern Miss at the end of the year could prove to be a winnable game, although going to be a hard one there. But the 2 most likely wins on the schedule here, in my opinion, are Arkansas State and Texas State. I think those 2 games right there, if you want to look for a win, and if they want to equal their 2 win total from Sun Belt Conference play last season, those are the 2 games you're probably going to want to look to. I don't do game-by-game predictions. I do a more percentage-based Alex help me predict a team's record. So if the game is in red, just don't see you winning the game. If the game is in orange, I still don't see you winning. But it is college football, and upsets can happen. Yellow, you're 50-50 high upset potential games. Games in yellow-green are games that, well, you should win, but you got to watch out for the team on the other side of the ball. And games in green, you're probably good to win. So Again, that game against Nicole's, Louisiana-Monroe, probably should be able to win that game there in the middle of a tough 3-game stretch there. Again, you got to go on the road to play Texas, on the road to play Bama. 2 games I see ULM having no shot in winning. Same thing on the road to Army. I almost put that game in red, but it is a game that I do think Army is going to be able to win. When you look at other games on the schedule, Louisiana, Coastal Carolina, even on the road at Georgia State, on the road at Troy, I think those are games that ULM's going to have to pull off a pretty surprising upset there in order to win those games. On the road against South Alabama, it is on the road. That's a team that can push for a spot in a bowl game. Same thing with Southern Miss. Very well could be a bowl team coming into 2022. And that is a Southern Miss team that a lot of people are quite high on, including myself. I quite like what that team has. Yes, ULM has them at home, but that's still going to be a tough game there at the end of the year for the Warhawks. But remember what I said a minute ago, right? If you want to look for a winnable game in Sunbelt play, here you go. Here are your 2 options. I've highlighted them in yellow. 2 teams that, again, are probably going to be fairly low on everyone's power rankings for the Sunbelt Conference. Arkansas State, who loses star quarterback Lane Hatcher, guy that was once recruited by Nick Saban. Don't know if you knew that, and a lot of other pieces there as well. Texas State is a team that is getting Lane Hatcher, but the Warhawks get him at home. And if you want to look for a win, I'm going to say that Texas State game could be the win in Sunbelt play, but Arkansas State, viable option there as well. To be fully honest with you guys, I have no idea how this team won 4 games a season ago, and I feel like it's going to feel kind of like a one-off season, right? I feel like this is the Warhawks team that needs a lot to happen to trend it in the right direction. They lose Rhett Rodriguez, of course, the offensive coordinator's son there. I mean, this is a Warhawks team that I feel like could end up moving in the right direction eventually. They have a lot of solid offensive talent. The offense should statistically be better than it was a season ago with all that experience coming back. But the defense I worry about. This is a tough schedule, and I don't see the Warhawks repeating their success that they had a season ago. I got them going 2-10, and I'll tell you right now, I have them going 1-7 in conference. I do think this team is going to win a conference game somewhere down the road. But hey, maybe this Warhawks team surprises again. 5-7, I think, is on the table. Yes, you're going to have to pull off some upsets to happen, but South Alabama, they couldn't make a bowl game with a fairly talented team a season ago. Southern Miss, maybe they're not as good as people think. Maybe you can pull off an upset against Army, maybe pull off an upset against your Louisiana rivals in Louisiana Lafayette. Crazy things can happen. 5-7, I think, is stretching the ceiling, but 11-1 I have as that floor. So thank you guys so much for watching. I got the Warhawks at 2-10 coming into 2022. Be sure you guys leave a like, comment, subscribe. Anything like that does help support the channel. And remember to play hard, but tailgate harder. See all you guys in the next video. Goodbye.